Oops. Hello. See our comments. Welcome to the Dr. Dare Show live on Facebook and YouTube. If you are on now, please let me know that you are here. Leave a comment so that I can know that Testing 1, 2, 3. Maybe that makes it louder. I'm on a new laptop too. Well, older, one of my other laptops. So I just want to make sure that I can be heard. Let me see. Yeah, let's see. Come on. Where's my volume? Mute. Unmute. Oh, good. You can hear me now. Okay, good, Michelle. Thanks. Louder. There it is. On a new laptop too. Well, older, one of my other laptops. Perfect. So I just want to make sure that I can be heard. Let me see. Good. So thanks, Michelle. I can see y'all on the phone, but of course, I can't see. Hey, Leanne. How are you, coworker? I can see y'all on my phone, so I'm going to keep my phone up so I can see the comments. Oh, good. You can. So Donna Martinez, LaKendrick, hey LaKendrick, Michelle. Yeah, so tonight our topic is, do you believe we should continue to whip children or beat children or whatever word you want to use, punishing children by force? And what are the benefits? Is it a slavery act that we continue to carry out, or spare the rod, spoil the child? Let's talk about it. We will start the discussion at 8:40. It's like 8:32 right now. So when you come in, click like, click share. Let me know how your week has been. Am I frozen? Yeah. Hear me now. Okay, good, Michelle. Thanks. There we go. Older, one of my other laptops. Perfect. I just want to make sure that I can be heard. Let me see. Let me turn that down. It has echo. So thanks, Michelle. I can see y'all on the phone, but of course, I can't see. Hey, Leanne. How are you, coworker? I can see y'all on my phone, so I'm gonna keep my phone up so I can see the comments. We're going to use punishing children by force. And what are the benefits? Is it a slavery act that we continue to carry out, or? So yeah, we will start at 8:40. Spare the rod, spoil the child. Let's talk about it. We will start the discussion at 8:40. It's like 8:32 right now. So when you come in, click like, click share. Let me know how your week has been. Hopefully it's not delayed. Hey, Barbara. Michelle, you said it's repeating what you're saying. I think it's a little delayed. Or do you hear an echo? Is that what you're saying? So I'm going to turn that down as long as I can see the comments over here. So, yeah. So we'll give people a chance to it's repeating what you're saying. So it's echoing. Hold on. Hello, everybody. When you come in, click share, click like, click share. Hello, everybody. Oh, it's just delayed. It's delayed on my end. Click like, click share. Hello, everybody. Oh, it's just delayed. It's delayed on my end. Click like, click share. It is repeating. Hello, everybody. Oh, it's just delayed. It's delayed on my end. Click like, click share. It is repeating. This thing is So we're waiting for everybody to come in. Welcome to the Dr. Dare Show. Tonight's topic is going to be, so put that on the screen. Do you believe we should continue to whip children? What are the benefits? Is it a slavery act that we continue to carry out? Or are we sparing if we spare the rod, will that spoil the child? And so that's the question that we're going to be talking about tonight once people come on. When you come on, let me know, say hello, put a message. Again, let's see. Hey, Karen. Karen's there. I can see her. Michelle was here. I don't know if Michelle is still here. I think it's repeating, so sorry about that, guys. Oh, that's me. Okay, Michelle, I see. Yes, you're here. Michelle's here. So I can see the comments on my phone, but I can't see it in this network, but we're going to make it work. We're not even going to talk about it. So Michelle was very passionate about this topic, and after Zumba class, Michelle, I should invite you on. You want to get on the screen with me? If it don't let you. Or anybody, if you want to come on the screen. Michelle said, nope. Okay. Okay, Michelle. I thought you wanted to have a conversation. Okay, we will get started in 2 minutes. Michelle, I like that routine you did tonight. Everybody, I forgot to tell you that. I don't know if I did. But there's a video online that I put up when I was recording the class, recording the back from the back of the class. One minute. So topic, do you believe we should continue to whip children? What are the benefits? Is it a slavery act that we continue to carry out, or spare the rod, spoil the child? Let's talk about it. And so let's talk about it. So the reason I brought this topic up, because me and some friends were talking about it the other day, and I thought it was a good topic to discuss. And I also posted, on my page, this document that's discussing how, like, yelling at your kids, all of those things kind of impact the child throughout their day, throughout their school day. I'm trying to see if I can go to it. But it just says how if you're yelling at your children before they go to school, it impacts their day. If you're yelling at them before they go to bed, it impacts their sleep. Just different impacts of how treating your kids. So do you guys believe that you still should punish your children by whipping them? by using the belt, by old school, they used to go out and get a switch and, do things like that. So what are your thoughts before I give my opinion? Because there's a lot of people that are pro, they still punish their children the old fashioned way. They still, beat them or, punish them. If they do something bad, they beat them. Or there's some people that don't, and they use the method. They'll use timeout, where they just tell you to go in a corner and think about your behavior, give you time to kind of process, give the child time to process what they do. And so Michelle, she's saying yes, if necessary. It depends on what they do. So Michelle, what kind of things justify a child getting beat? Like getting a whipping is what we used to call it. What things do you feel like justify a child being whipped? Because my only problem I'll throw this out there, is my only problem with it is if a child makes a mistake, some people back in the day would beat their child because the child made a mistake. And I feel like that teaches the child that they can't make mistakes as adults. They grow up, and so they feel like they have to be perfect. And which is, to me, that's anxiety. You build an anxiety in your child because now they're just like, if I do something wrong, there's something's going to happen. So they're always making sure that they're trying to not do anything. And to me, that's what anxiety is. Your anxiety is that you're worried about something before it actually even happens. So I'm curious. Michelle says it depends on what they do, what the child does. Hey, Kanika. And so, Michelle, can you give us some examples of when you feel like a child needs to be beaten? I have my opinion of it because I do deal with a lot of clients that, have dealt with this, and it does impact them as an adult when they grow up, depending on how punishment was when they were growing up. So, I can talk about my childhood when I was growing up. All it took was one whipping for me, and then I didn't go back and do it again because all my mom or dad had to do was look at me, and I knew, like, if you don't stop doing that, you're going to get it. But that was very far in between. So I know my parents believed in, whippings and things like that. So, yeah. Any thoughts on that? Because the thing is, you have to think about this. Children really learn from their parents. They learn so much, even from the age of 0 to 2. They pick up an attachment style, meaning they're paying attention to how their parents are treating them. Like, so if your parent was always there and nurturing, and you could depend on them, and they attended to all your needs, then you have what we call a secure attachment style, meaning you grew up pretty good and you trust yourself, you have confidence, your parents were nurturing, you feel good. But then there's 4 or 5 other attachment styles where anxiety is built because the parents weren't there. There's ambivalent attachment style. So many attachment styles. I should have picked up that paper. So Michelle says, hey, Susie. Michelle says, I whip my kids when they are disrespectful. Don't beat my kids. I do pop them. So Michelle says she pops. She pops her kids. But Michelle question, and we were kind of talking about this in class, is like, do you explain why they are getting the whipping or being popped at the time? Because I think that's important. I think we were talking about this after class. If you're just kind of whipping your child and they don't know, why they got whipped, or, they think that they just made a mistake and they're getting the whippings. I just think if you're going to do this, you have to have conversation with kids. And that's the problem, I think, I have with it is that we treat kids like they should just be quiet. You know, that statement that we heard, all of us probably heard growing up, is that you kind of stay in a child's place. You should be seen but not heard. And I don't believe that, because what if something is going on with the child and they can't communicate that to you because you have that rule? Michelle says, yes, I asked them, do they know what they got in trouble? Do they know why they got in trouble? And they say no. And then I explain it. Okay, that's good. That's good. Because I feel like if you are going to whip your child, if that's your form of punishment, and again, no judgment, because we all grew up in different ways and different times. And so I feel like if you do explain, and there's a limit though, I feel like between abuse and just punishment. And so, but one of the Zumba students that we were talking at the class, and she was saying that she felt like that's why the kids are bad today, because parents tried to do that kind of soft parenting where they do timeout. They do like, okay, go in the corner and think about what it is that you've done so you can process it. So Kanika says, I got whipped when I was a kid by my mom, but it's a usual thing in India. I definitely feel it is needed sometimes, but using your words or timeout is a better option. So thank you for sharing that, Kanika. So even in India, that is, you feel like that's the way y'all were raised? Because we were talking about that after Zumba class too. Like, is it a cultural thing? Like, do certain cultures believe in whipping kids and then some don't? How do you feel, Michelle and Kanika? How do you feel getting whipped growing up? How do you feel like that impacted your life as an adult? And I've had my share of whippings. I feel like I said, when my mom did it, and why is it that the mom does it and the dad doesn't? Because Kanika, did your dad ever punish you? Or was it always your mom? Because I'm thinking my mom did the punishing. My dad really didn't, because my dad was laid back, kind of quiet, didn't really get into that punishment game. No, he did not. So, okay, that's a question. Why are the women giving the punishment? Why? I'm gonna type that out. Why are the women giving the punishment? And so Karen says, my parents explained why we were getting popped. And with my mom, she did more of addressing the why than actually popping us. My dad did not discipline us physically. So again, there's a trend here that, so I'm gonna put Karen's statement up there. So there seems to be a trend that women are doing the punishment and the men are not. So what does that say? And as a therapist, I'm always looking at behavior patterns. So my thing is, why did men not punish children? And so it seems like y'all are in agreement that if you're going to get a whipping, you should tell your child, you should explain to them what the issue is, why they're getting punished. But this is interesting. I would like to do research on this. Why are women given the punishment and the husband is not? So Kanika says, because women are considered to be responsible for the kids and their behavior in every culture. Okay, that makes sense. And so the dad would be considered what? The breadwinner, the person who financially supports the household, all of those things. And so we got Michelle saying, I have an example. I used to whip my kids when they were little. Then I tried another approach and they started telling their friends, she ain't gonna do nothing but yell. So I had to start popping them again to keep them in check. And so, Michelle, what I feel like you're saying is that those empty threats of like, stop doing that, and without any whipping, that's not going to work for kids. So I wonder, is it a kid by kid basis? Like some kids are shy and quiet and they obey the rules and they probably never will get whipped. But then there's some kids that I don't care how many times you tell them, they will still do whatever it is and still get in trouble. And that's why I wonder, like, does whipping work? Does it really, is it a benefit? Is it, because some kids don't care. You can threaten them all day, you can whip them all day, and they still are going to come back and do something bad. So I like what Kanika was saying, because the women are considered to be responsible for the kids and their behavior in every culture. That is probably why women are the punish, you know, they're giving that role of the punisher. That's what they're doing. Michelle says it can work for some because it wasn't all my kids, just one or two. Right. So it depends on, so now we're saying it depends on that child as well. Whether, you know, you have to punish, because I'm sure every kid doesn't, I didn't get in trouble a lot. I think once I had a couple of whippings here or there, I kind of was like, I don't want to feel that again, and I don't want to get in trouble again. So I just kind of was on my best behavior. And I wasn't really a bad kid. I didn't really do anything. But for me, since you guys have given your opinion, I don't think children should be whipped. I feel like they should be, you know, you should have conversations with them. You should, now if they keep repeating a same negative behavior and they know the consequences that they're going to get in trouble, to me, then they should be going to therapy, because there could be something going on. Because anytime a kid is not afraid of the consequences of their actions and they just keep repeating behaviors, something may be wrong. Something may be going on mentally that needs to be talked about, assessed, whatever that looks like. And so for me, I don't believe. And the reason I say that too is because I look at slavery. Slaves got beat for just doing things like if their slave master didn't like what they did, they got whipped. And I feel like that's kind of the same thing. Y'all can let me know how you feel about that, but that's my thing, because that's the same act. What do y'all think about that? So Michelle says it can work for some. Okay, Michelle says, I think you should have a few, and let's address this. So Michelle, you're saying you don't think I don't have enough knowledge to know or to make that opinion. But I see the adults who have been impacted by being whipped. I just think it takes away your voice as an adult. I feel like you're always, to me, if you had a parent that was always whipping you and every time you got in trouble, you got a whipping, I feel like it takes away your voice as an adult, because you're always walking around with anxiety and being anxious. Because the fear of, if I do something wrong, is always in your mindset. Because you do know, this is something I don't know if you guys know on here, is that your parent's voice is your inner voice. So anytime you're thinking negative about yourself, anytime there's like, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. Usually for the most people, and most times, I don't want to generalize, that is your parent's voice telling you those things. I'll give an example. If your parent always was on you about your weight, if they were always telling you, you need to lose weight, you need to stop, you need to when you grow up, guess whose voice is going to be in your head about weight? That's why most people who have body image issues, weight issues, because their parent is playing over and over in their head, like, you need to stop. And not everybody. Okay, Michelle makes a good point. She said there is no, I'm not saying that those adults got beat. So there is a fine line between beating and whippings. And so we kind of got into that discussion after class too, is there's a fine line, like Michelle said, there's a fine line between beating and then a whipping. So Michelle, what are you saying? Beating is more like abusive, more like punching and, going beyond the average pop or a belt or that. But where do you draw the line? Because my problem with that is that, and this is why it's problematic, is because some adults don't know when to stop. Like they will just, I've seen beat, 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 and it's actually traumatic for the child. And then they're afraid when they grow up, they're afraid, they have little voice, they're very timid, anxious, all of those things. But I do agree with you, Michelle. There is a thin line between beating and whippings. Okay, Karen says, my parents addressed us as individuals. I got in trouble a lot and I wanted to know why everything and had a smart mouth and got tired and embarrassed and got about getting popped. So Karen, you wanted to know why that you were getting whipped. And I think that's good. I think because I feel like we again, I'm going to say this statement. I feel like we say a child should be seen and not heard. And I don't believe that, because I feel like the child should be able to express. Now, I'm not saying they're all in every adult conversation and they're just rude and talking over their parents and all of that stuff. But I do feel like if y'all are having a conversation and a child is like, oh, mommy, oh, daddy, I did that. But the parent is like, be quiet, adults are talking. But that child had an opinion. They had a voice about that. So what do y'all think about that? So Michelle says leaving bruises or hitting them in the head, things like that. Okay, so physical abuse. And so Michelle is defining that just like leaving bruises, hitting them in the head, things like that. Yeah. Okay, so I can see that. I can see having rules and guidelines for your punishment to where you know that you're not going past the line of abuse, because I don't want y'all to go to jail. But like Michelle said, I don't have kids. I've been around a lot of my nieces and nephews. I've been a kid. So I understand that sometimes kids are just, they don't listen. They'll repeat the behavior. But again, from a therapist perspective, I feel like if you have a kid and you just keep telling them the same thing over and over again, and they just keep doing it and keep getting in trouble and don't worry about the consequences, I think they need to see a therapist. I think a therapist needs to see, what's going on, so that you're getting your child looked at and you're not just punishing them for something maybe they can't help that they're doing. That's my concern too, is that that parent that gets so frustrated because I've told him or I told her over and over again and she just keeps doing it, then there's something probably wrong. There's probably something wrong if you have to keep repeating that over and over again, and you shouldn't keep beating that child. It's like, when are you going to say, well, wait a minute. Why would he keep doing it, or why would she keep doing that if she knows she's going to get in trouble? Okay, Karen says, fortunately, my mom has a solid answer as to why each time. I finally got wise to changing my behavior, and what my mom said made sense. So Karen, you kind of, as you grew up and as you understood, like, okay, I'm gonna get punished for this if I keep doing this. But there's some kids who don't. They just keep doing it. They don't care about the consequences. Michelle said, that's my grandbaby. She don't care about a whipping. And I told her to get her checked out because she does petty stuff. Yeah, when your kid doesn't care and they just keep, you probably do need to get an assessment on them. So yeah, that's my thing. But yeah, and no judgment on, these are your kids. You raise them. You punish them the way you want. I just feel like when a kid, I will say this, when a kid, like I just said, when a kid keeps repeating the same behavior, it's probably that they need, you know, an assessment to see what's going on. Because they're not just, why would a kid want to keep getting punished for the same thing, but they keep going back and doing the same thing? That doesn't make sense. So, all right, y'all. Any other thoughts before we close out? I don't want to keep us any longer. But good discussion. Good discussion. All right. Well, I will end this. I won't keep you guys on long. Thank y'all for joining, and we'll talk to y'all in 2 weeks.